Okay.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm excited. We're at graduation point. A panic. That's a good feeling.
It is. I agree, it is. So, before we start, I just want to set this space up a little. This is always a judgment-free zone.
Hmm.
There's nothing you can say wrong here. The goal is to help you explore what's already there and bring awareness to it to kind of like help you map your subconscious.
Okay.
Um, At times, I may pause you or guide the direction a bit, not because anything is wrong, but to support the process. Does that feel okay?
Yes.
During this session, I might take some notes. I'm happy to share them with you after the meeting if you want. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
What we're going to focus on today is we're going to go over your 5 values, and then we're going to kind of pick one that maybe you don't feel in alignment, that is in as aligned as you want to
Hmm.
be, and we're going to kind of explore that and maybe see if there's some rules or some things attached to it.
Okay.
And from the last session, your top values were prosperity,
Okay.
impact, alignment, freedom, and hope.
Okay.
Now, is there one of those you would like to work with? It kind of feels off balance, kind of,
Hmm.
or just one you want to explore.
Be freedom.
Freedom?
It'd be freedom or hope. But I know this also doesn't mean that any of those values go away. This is a continuation to help me understand my own subconscious and the map, how I've mapped it.
All right, we're just going to explore it a little bit further.
Right. So
And
maybe possibly how I understand freedom could open up, and freedom could give me more than just what I already have. More or less, it might bring something else into my awareness, but okay, freedom.
okay,
All right, I'm solid with that. Okie doke.
okay. What does freedom mean to you?
With freedom, there, it does cover some of the other things that we've talked. Freedom means uh I'm in alignment, but it's more than that. It's freedom gives you a voice, a place, and a container to not be made to feel small or insignificant. Freedom would be without judgment. So maybe there would be less of a feeling of being misunderstood. Freedom means, and, and and if I apply it the way I'd like to more in the future, freedom means I don't have to over explain myself, which actually, whether a person does it or not, but it also, in my case, it can end up being a bad habit. In a sense, I want to go over this because I do believe freedom has never been free, not just from a military and perspective, but when we choose freedom, and if that means we have a voice, and if that means we have some empowerment, um, you know,
Yeah.
obviously we have felt, or it provides us some confidence and some self-esteem, and it's okay if not everybody likes us. Some will, some won't. And I think freedom is just, it's far more than military members have paid a price so that we're able to. Like, look at what's going on in our world now. There are so many other countries where things aren't, they, women don't have a voice. Women are not allowed to be empowered or speak their mind or be accepted. Maybe, they can't, they're not even allowed to talk about their opinions, or or maybe within certain different circles they're able to be free with a certain group, but not maybe in their home. There are countries though where women do, own businesses. They are successful. They make a difference. Freedom can mean many things to many different people. I mean, it's, everybody has a different perspective. Um, I feel freedom allows a person to reach for independence. You may, maybe they want to be able to live live in a way, their own way, whether it's in their own space, their own apartment, own house, or live life the way that they feel aligned to. Freedom, what else? Let me think. Yeah, I did say this. Freedom, is empowering. Uh, Freedom helps someone make an impact on others. There's, whether it's men, even men. Look at some of, the great philosophers in life who were men. Thankfully, they were able to have the freedom to speak their mind and be an example, and help others understand themselves, or helps them come up with different values or perspective, just a different way of thinking
It seems like
without judgment, right?
right.
Yeah. I think even for myself, definitely for myself, I didn't realize that freedom had more meaning to me than just, surface, where I was like, freedom's never been free. My military, my family, I've had so many military members. I was married to military. I've only ever dated military, whatever. Um, at that time, I think now, throughout my life, and especially at this time in my life, freedom means so much more.
Yeah, it sounds like freedom is very important to you.
I wouldn't say that it means more than prosperity or impact, because it's very much, or alignment. It it is part of those things, but it also stands alone. It's more than a vehicle or a means. It is.
Isn't that
It's an end in its own, in a sense.
and from to kind of paraphrase what you said, it allows independence. It allows you to be in alignment and you can have a voice and
Yeah.
not feel misunderstood. So do I have that courage? Do I have that?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yes. When I was much younger, or even a few years ago, I would circle around. You misunderstand me. You misunderstand. You're not listening. but I realize everyone has their own narrative. And if they're holding on to an older narrative of who you were, that's on them. It's not on me. And it has to do with control too. I can't control others, but all I can do is control myself. So understanding that I'm in control of me and I can't control others, it definitely, when you let it sit with you, it it gives you other lanes to go down, which are more fulfilling to you than trying to convince everyone else, because it's, if how what can I offer if I haven't achieved certain things on my own first, and then just live in alignment with that. And if others see that in you, fine. And if they don't, that's okay too. You'll find your community, you'll find your tribe. And for me, family means something very differently to me, unfortunately. I've had to absolutely, for many different reasons, live without family. And it's to the point with my connection and fulfillment. I'm able to accept not having, I don't have to, I can't, you can't force anything on other people. But finally, when I was able to accept it and then realize family to me are the friends that see me and know me, and they have their own narrative of me, and those, and they accept me as if I was blood, if I am their family. And that's who, those special people, it's not many, but those special people that are placed in my life, it's not a coincidence. And those people can be, I can get something, which is okay. I don't have to feel bad that I don't always have to do everything alone. Being alone and being comfortable with yourself. Like, at this time I'm single, but I don't need a boyfriend or a partner to feel complete. Do I always want to be, maybe, maybe, I mean, yeah, it would be nice if I had a partner. And then sometimes I think maybe, because if I have to, there's certain parts of me, and if I have to lose a certain part of myself to do so, that's not worth the cost. I can still be happy and provide my own, with independence. I can provide my own joy and happiness without having to always have it from a partner or a husband, because I've learned to be able to provide that certain things for myself, which is truth. And leveling up and upgrading things do need an upgrade. Your values do change over a course of time. And I've, yeah, yeah,
Um, can I ask you a question?
yeah.
So what I'm hearing is that freedom is multifaceted for you, but
Hmm.
the one clear theme I hear throughout it is that you get to be you.
Yes,
Is that, does that sit right?
absolutely. Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely, yes. Thank you. Sometimes, we say things. Thank you for hearing me. Yes, that's what I mean. Thank you. Yep. It's part of it. I'm me, and it's okay to be me.
Yeah, and that gives you freedom, in
Hmm.
which is one of your high values. Is
Yeah.
okay. So what has to happen for you to feel freedom? We've discussed it a little bit. but
Mhm.
let's zero in more.
Okay.
You want to say,
Like, do I have rules, right?
yeah,
For
rules
me
of
to
things.
feel free, okay, free, freedom. What has to happen?
What has to be in place?
It no longer is, you have to understand me. No,
Okay.
it's okay to have different opinions. Not everybody has to agree. There's no judgment with it. You can agree to disagree, but that doesn't, it's not an ultimatum.
Okay.
What has to happen? Because I also feel being, when you, even when you disagree, that's giving a person respect in a sense, acknowledgement and, respect. So
So do you need respect in order to feel that freedom?
I think respect is a means in a sense, but yeah, I guess it would be a rule too. It's something that helps, it carries you into it. And I do feel respect goes both ways though. So, okay. What has to happen? Let me think about that. It can be uncomfortable at times, but things that are thought provoking, you know, a friend or a connection, they may have a perspective, and with that respect you hear them out. You're able to have a container where you're both listening. So if I felt like, oh, growth is important, this is important, respect for one another and other people being different. Yeah. What has to happen? I'm learning that space within a container, or giving someone space is good. It gives you time to reflect. It gives you time to, you're not just cutting them off and assuming you know what they mean, or you're not stuck in old patterns of where something maybe didn't feel good, you had an experience, but that just could have been where you were at that time. But with some space or time and some reflection with your self-awareness, it can mean growth. It can make a difference. It can be impactful.
Okay. How does growth affect your your value of freedom?
With learning and growing and growth, I always feel like I love to learn, continue education, you know, believing in, being awakened or to something new and other possibilities, and, not being limited, a limited view, maybe other, accepting that others have experienced maybe more in certain areas, maybe less, but that still doesn't mean that they don't have something to add to your, going forward, which I feel if you don't have growth, I don't see how you are able to continue on, at least successfully, which does. Success really isn't a value to me because it falls under other things, impact or alignment. Well, actually, success falls for me under prosperity, which isn't just wealth. To me, it's never been about money. Having money helps.
And it's fine.
It's a means to get to other places, but what has to happen? Growth, learning gives you, the space, a container for you to for expansion and freedom. What has to happen? There is a little part of me, not much, but there's still like a sliver of me that does think, and I wouldn't say that it's low self-esteem or lack of confidence. A sliver of me is like, it's okay though. That's good. If I say this little sliver is, you might be missing something right now at the moment, but if you let it set in, it allows for you later to have the aha moments, and that is part of growth.
Right. Okay.
And without freedom, how would you ever get to that point? How would those things be able to take place within yourself or in your area, within your group? So that's okay. We don't always have to know everything. Duh. I think you've heard, perfect. You can be imperfect, but what is perfection? I don't really believe in perfection.
Let's circle back to defining um, what has to happen for you to feel this freedom. We've gone over, could you give me like 4 words? We've discussed them.
Freedom, okay. To feel freedom, having a voice. So how can you even feel empowered if you aren't able to, voice things? Um,
Do you need to feel empowered to be free, to have freedom
no,
as you define it? Okay.
not really.
Just
But
you
having
need
a voice, freedom does allow you to have a voice. Empowerment can mean different things. Empowerment can be a vehicle,
for that.
but
Okay.
right. But having a voice is actually is better. It doesn't Having your voice is good, and it doesn't matter if you're misunderstood or understood. At least you have the freedom to have your voice. Like I said, it's okay to disagree. So you said 3 word voice, impact. Freedom allows a person to have impact in other areas of their life.
Okay. How so? How, how does
How
freedom allow
how?
you to have impact? Or what does it, yeah, I think that's what I'm
Mhm.
asking is,
I think that's how some of the other things I was mentioning, which were vehicles, uh, misunderstood. The impact is, or, giving someone else advice, those fall under impact. And why is impact important to me?
yeah,
I guess that would be some of the things that fall under that would be being able to make a difference, which, ooh, I just realized something interesting. Sometimes people will do something for you, whether it's financial or, things that you're not able to provide for yourself at that time. And maybe you're never able to truly pay them back. I'm not even talking about money, but they didn't do it to get paid back. So I feel like that helps you have the capability to offer something else to others and without expectations.
so
You
free,
Yeah, so you can give freely something without the expectation that they're going to get, you have to get something in return for it. You're able to go further in your life because someone showed you some humanity, gave you some grace. They were respectful, I mean, uh, but what's more important to me right there with to pull it back in, it is very important to me, whether it's if I'm not able to give back to the person that helped me along the way,
Mhm.
I do feel it's important to take that to another area of your life and help someone else with whatever, meet them where they're at so
Okay,
that they can go further in life, or that they can just get through maybe what meeting them where they're at so that they can, which is whether whether it's impactful or not, it just helps them in that moment. And I'm still able then to go, I can go separately and not wait around to see, oh, without the expectation. And we were talking about that earlier. How it follows, it's okay to let them know they don't have to explain themselves without them even saying it. It's more like an act instead of words, so that they don't have to explain themselves away, or it helps them with their own growth, whatever. And you know what, I can even say that's not, when it's okay with you, that however it's maybe it's revealed, maybe it's never revealed to you what the purpose was, maybe it's not meant in that time, and maybe later on it's revealed, or sometimes maybe right away that what the purpose is. But regardless, you still just continue on. You don't get stuck in that place.
and that gives you freedom
Yes.
to help the other person and to therefore
Yes.
help yourself is what I'm hearing you say.
Right. Whether that's through coaching, because we could come and there's oh, we're learning, which is great. I absolutely don't want to be a therapist, and I am not a psychiatrist, and I'm not the right person actually. I'll be honest. Trauma isn't my role. That's not my lane.
Mhm.
I'm still newly, sometimes maybe 10 years. 5 years is still too new when you've come out of trauma, but that's okay too. I don't have to be giving back to those who are in, trauma. Sometimes it may just be a person just needs some guidance with clarity. So you listen, help them talk through it and
And
bring
how,
back their own words to them. That's why Masters of Coaching, I mean, this is so important too. Going through the course helps you realize to listen more than you speak. Um, Meet them where they're at. And the areas that I'm not ready for, that's okay because there's others that are. Their bandwidth is different. Their capacity in that area is different, but that still is okay for me. I have the freedom and I can go my direction and continue on and pay, help give back. It is important, I feel, to give back and not be, self-serving or self-care is important, is obviously, but that's not what we're discussing. But there is no buts.
okay.
Freedom can, yeah, freedom allows expansion.
And how could you expand in your life? We've discussed like helping others, coaching, um, just giving freely. Is you associate that with freedom, I believe.
You know what I've learned? To stop resonating. And if I stop resonating with their story, like kind of like if that's a record playing in your head, like
Mm-hmm.
maybe that helped you in survival mode, you resonate. Maybe you thought that helped others because you could relate. It's okay if you don't relate because that also too, if you're not regulated or in alignment, that leads to burnout. Like right along, like with motivation, momentum is more important. And just listening, just listen and not, it's cool. I mean, yes, it's nice to have freedom to have your own opinion, but I really am enjoying learning to listen and not having to have an opinion. Even having opinions can be draining, you know? If you're not aligned, yeah. But I'm really enjoying learning to listen more and I really like the part about it. I always thought I liked that I resonated with people with what they, but the expansion part, it's so cool to learn that it's good to, okay, resonating has a purpose, but expansion, man, get out of that old loop. You can go forward and you don't always have to relate. You don't have to experience every single thing that someone else is experiencing. You can just give them a safe space.
Okay, yeah. Let's see if I am hearing you correctly. Freedom to you is
Mhm.
having your own voice, being able to speak, to give freely with no expectations.
Mhm.
Um, to kind of go in your own direction. We talked about those, shorthand, right?
Mhm. I know,
Um,
it's okay. Calvin warned us. You better
yeah,
learn to be able to read your own notes. It's
yes.
funny.
Going forward, yeah, it's
Yeah.
going forward is important.
Mm-hmm.
And um, freedom allows expansion. So expansion is important for in order for you to feel like you're living your value and how you understand freedom. Expansion
Yes.
is
Yes.
important. And then
I
of
think
course
it's a higher importance than some of the other. You helped me get to my own understanding. Expansion is more important than me resonating. Growth, that is part of it. That's a small piece of it. So expansion is more important to me.
and would you also agree, or what do you think that listening, you said just learning to listen is kind of a freedom. It gives you a freedom. Could
Yeah.
you expand more upon that?
Hmm. When you stop trying to resonate and you slow your own mind down, and you're actually listening, and you're not assuming that you know what they're going to say next, or how that story ends, or you're not assuming, well, I resonate, so I know how they're feeling. It is actually a relief, because burnout, it's actually a relief. It's okay to not resonate. Listening is important, and I'm finding so much more joy and fulfillment from listening than I ever truly got from resonating. And definitely the errors that I made, with, well, I know what they're going to say. I know what that feeling is. It could be very similar or maybe the same situation you went through, but we're all unique and different. And that doesn't mean that we experience it exactly the same way. And that's cool. You don't want it to be worse for someone else, but that's part of meeting them where they're at, and that's cool. And you're stopping that record. You're just listening, and you're not you're just there, and it's being present. So if you stop that loop of, I'm resonating, and I know how they feel, and I know what she's going to say next, or anything like that, it just means so much more. And that's where the expansion comes from, the listening and the expansion. And then, when I've spoken of, oh, awakening and transformation, wow, the listening allows that.
Yeah, that seems
Listening, I feel listening is far more important now than than knowing what they went through. I mean, feeling what they went through. And it's healthier, I think. You're not, because you can keep listening to someone else's trauma if you're not quite, not that, it is important to help others come out of trauma.
yes.
But when you begin listening more, you have to be careful. You can, like when I had, not really right now, but when I had talked about kindness, how my perception of it was, my kindness was failing me because of my own understanding, or what the rules that I had assigned or thought about kindness.
Yes.
It was self-sabotage in a sense. It wasn't so much that it was self-talk. It was misaligned. It was my thoughts about it. It sounds good, right? Kindness. Oh, be kind. Yeah, but you can really set yourself up to fail if you don't, because of my own, what I was holding kindness, the values to kindness and things. So it's not about kindness right now, but yes, that's how I got there, and was able to get past, I'm learning now. I'm still in the process. Oh yeah, let that go. You know, yeah, and cool. Self-awareness is cool, but giving yourself grace with it. Listening is, I think it's got so much more to even offer me that I haven't even realized yet.
Listening is um, an art. I think sometimes
Yeah,
how to
right,
with you.
right.
And it's attached to your freedom
Mm-hmm.
in that way.
You know, I've heard, not just yourself, I've heard people talk about, I have to have creativity. I was so stuck in these other things. I didn't have the bandwidth, or, I was like, oh, creativity's not for me. I'm already too tired. Oh, that's just not a gift of mine. That's not true. One, that's a limiting belief, and that's a whole different subject. But listening in its own way allows creativity and new experiences, right? Yeah. Didn't realize listening can help with creativity. Wow.
That's that seems like it's really hit you that is something that's
It's
really
kind of like an
important.
aha moment.
Yeah.
Oh, it's definitely an aha moment.
So freedom, like we said, is multifaceted for you.
Yeah.
There's
For
no
me,
one
yeah.
thing.
Yeah. It
It's
used to just mean freedom wasn't free and I support my military members. Don't disrespect them. That was actually limiting me also.
so there's um
Mhm.
listening is important to your freedom. Um,
Yes. I
going
mean,
forward.
in my own way, yeah. Listening. I have the freedom to actually listen when I allow myself, right?
Right.
And that's freeing.
Truth. Yes, it is free.
Yeah.
So I think we've gone over it's having a voice, it's impact, it's growth, and all those things need to be there in order for you to be in alignment with your value.
Hmm.
Is that a true statement or
Yes, maybe they don't all have to be there.
okay?
You know what I mean?
What
It's
would
not
be
like one of them's gonna stop me from
okay?
listening now,
Okay,
but
so
it's part of my growth. I'm realizing those things are part of the freedom, and those are things that it's the positive impact is what I'm saying. That's what's coming out of it. So the rule, my positive view on what listening means in reference to freedom, I think that it's healthy. I feel that it's healthy. Mentally healthy, which they say, you can, if you get this and this, it will carry over into your physical.
correct, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I think we marked or figured out what you need for freedom. You don't need every one
Mhm.
of them every
Mhm.
time, but there's parameters.
Yes.
Um,
You get one or two. Hey, bonus if you get all of them, right?
that's right. Yes,
But and yeah, listening can provide that, but yeah, just a couple of those positive things that the rules there, it's just, yeah, it means freedom. Yeah, and listening. So, yep.
okay. And now we're going to go the other way.
Okay.
What can't happen in order for you to feel value?
Hmm. I think too. Let me see. Let me think about this because sometimes the negative and the things that can't happen are useful. Doesn't always mean it's negative and it's limiting you. It's negative. Yeah, what can't happen can be limiting, But what can't happen also allows you to reach where you need to be or where you want to be in alignment. But okay, what can't happen?
Kind of like what tends to take you away from your freedom?
Mm,
Is it a way to
um, it's not so much that I had to always over explain myself, but if I am made to feel or if I have to over explain myself, I've reversed it now. I no longer feel I have to over explain myself. So if I come into something where I have to continue, it can't happen that way anymore. That's not so that doesn't help.
okay?
And it it is it wasn't that someone was doing that to me. It was myself explaining myself away. However, now that I have awareness about this, I know no. Some explanation, yes. But if I have to do it over and over again or too much, that's not okay with me at all. So I can't be expected to over explain myself.
Okay, that would stop your freedom, your freedom of expression, your freedom, all
Absolutely.
that
It
are
stops me from the identity of who I am. It doesn't serve who I am. I may, I spoke of that negative relationship that was quick and over with, but everything got twisted in that. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
Yeah. I had, I was explaining myself, but that was a distraction that I was having to explain myself when that person was using that. It was, yeah, it wasn't healthy. Over explaining yourself, it can be is to me is very unhealthy. So I can't have that in my life. That's a rule.
okay. What else
But I'm
can
having a better understanding though that to stop myself, first it's about me. And then if I accept that about myself, then others may not, when I show up, they're not even going to try to do that because that's not what, like if we mirror our,
Mhm.
what we mirror. Yeah. So that's helpful to know. What else can't happen? A lot of things fell under impact, but if I'm not growing in some way, somehow, I can't. That's not okay. I mean, it can mean different things at different times of your life, because that's part of expansion. But if you were to say to me, from this point on,
Yeah.
at the age that you are now, you're never allowed to ever learn anything else. This is it. It's maxed out. This is as far as you can go. I mean, I give myself some grace and I do know my worth. It's not that there are things even a couple of weeks ago, we had talked about certain things and it was affecting my worthiness, my own self-talk or self-sabotage. But trusting the process, you just wake up, which is an aha moment. And like, part of me believed I was worthy, but now I really feel it much stronger. Yeah. Yeah. It's still a process, but it's getting stronger and stronger. Yeah. I'm not stuck where I was at before. But if I was told I could not, if there was no expansion, no more learning in life, hey, I'd have to be like hard pass. like, oh, to achieve this or this, you have to give up that. I don't know. It'd be, I don't know what it would take for me to give that up. But right now I'm saying I wouldn't be able to do it.
Okay, it seems like it's very, very important to you,
Mm-hmm.
learning and that not growing in some way. That's a hard stop. That, if that
Mm-hmm.
exists, there is no freedom.
Yeah. I mean, that would be hard. It'd be really difficult. I mean, thankfully it hasn't happened. And well, yeah, I'm kind of coming out of that. When you're stuck in burnout, you're not really, you're just in that loop and loop. And now I have the freedom. I've, fast track. It helped me rewire I was solution based. I wasn't taking it. In fact, they kept in the beginning, I was like, you want me to be a coach? That's not me. That's not my role. I'm not here for that. You all are, not me. I'm here for me. I'm resetting rewiring. I believe in the brain. I love how the brain works because that's part of learning, right? I
Mhm.
love how it works. I believe in this. I know that I'm capable of it. It's meant for me too. I'm going to rewire that brain because I am part solution based. I was like, I have to find something that I haven't tried before because whatever I've tried in the past isn't working or no longer is working. And this burnout, I am so sick of the burnout. I can't stand myself anymore. So I was
So,
solution based. I was like, I have to seek something out that is different, you know, because what I'm doing isn't working. I want to stop existing in life. I want to get out of survival mode because I really want to be able to truly live life, be going through life, living life in the presence, being present. And I feel that I had missed out on some things by getting in my own way. And now that that's been achieved, you don't want to go back to that.
you want to enjoy those experiences and what
Yeah.
comes
And yeah.
forward instead of looking back. Is that an accurate statement for you?
Yeah, because I started out in fast track and I was like, no, not for me. Y'all are coaches, you know? And look where we're at now. I didn't even think that was for me, but that's okay because, I did believe, all right, I don't really feel different yet, week one, trust the process. And then it was like the little aha moments along the way. Oh, wow. This works. Trusting the process works. Okay. Which gave me not motivation, it gave me momentum and it gave me movement. So, what else does it give me? Like, what can't happen? I just
Right.
think I got another one. Movement. I don't know, maybe that falls under freedom. It does, but no, we're talking about the rules that we assign to it. What am
Right.
I assigning? If I don't have
What is
movement,
keeping you from having that freedom?
yeah, I think movement is a very, very much a part of that.
And movement in what areas of your life would you place it?
Growth.
So we've got some rules going
Mhm.
both ways,
Mhm.
what has to happen, what can't happen.
Mhm.
How often do you feel fulfilled or feel not fulfilled, but feel free to do what you want or to live the way you perceive freedom to be?
Yeah. That journey to live the best life, your best life, being
Mhm.
present and enjoying it. I'm feeling it every day now. A little bit more each day, but it definitely really is, what would I say, a part of my identity now, my DNA. Like, I'm not so worried about losing it as much, you know what I mean? Because the things that I said I don't have to have aren't in place, ticks in the box. which really allows me to feel it each day. You know, girl, in the movement thing, I get up and I'm not feeling shame or guilt, meaning like, I'm Titus and I, my boy.
Mhm.
Most people, yeah, they're like, they know who Titus is. Titus just loves, that movement. This is also, okay, I'll be honest. Wow, I didn't think about this. When I was stuck, I didn't want to be around other people. I wouldn't really say that it was so much, it wasn't exactly fear, but there was anxiety tied to it. And I was like, I do not have the energy, mental. Oh my gosh, I have nothing left. That's part of the motivation and the burnout. I don't have anything left to give. Oh my gosh. I had a psychiatrist. Now I don't need one, but this was years ago. But she was like, "I give you homework." She was from Colombia, but she was harsh, but I really liked her. You either loved her or hated her. It took me a bit, but I ended up loving her. And she's like, "So, do you interact with people?" And I'm like, "Hell no." She's like, "But you live on the beach." Yeah, I do. So she's like, "I need to give you homework. I want you to engage with other people." I'm like, "No, I'm good. I'm happy. I've got the ocean, I got the waves, but no, that's not for me." She's like, "Well, don't you have neighbors?" I'm like, "Sometimes." There are some locals though that live there year round. Yeah, I got a couple, in this building on the beach, other condos. And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "So when do you take out your trash?" This
To live up to that, to live that value. And we've gone over the what doesn't belong there, what can't happen.
Mhm.
Do you feel that we have adequately discussed freedom, and or do you have another facet you want to discuss about your value?
No, at this time, I think I would end up being a little bit more redundant.
Okay.
And you've been really good about how.
And uh, we discussed what has to happen and what can't happen.
Mhm. We sure did.
Did I go into the second and third consequences of the rules?
Yes. B- Yep. Because I expanded
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
because you did it. What does that mean to you? And then you
Okay.
gave me the space to be able to verbally go through that more than once,
Yeah.
which was a third and a fourth time, which allowed the smaller ahas. Absolutely. Yes, you did.
I was worried about that one. But you seem you were when you were processing, you were doing it yourself. So it's
Oh,
like,
sorry.
no,
Oh,
don't
yeah.
everybody
No, don't I start saying that, right?
yeah, no, that
Okay.
was wonderful to see because you're taking initiation or initiative and
Mhm.
exploring it yourself for yourself. That is always good.
Mhm.
So
I think that is something that we've both have been doing, whether it's coach or client, and when we've reversed it, it's definitely, I've seen those things within yourself, and that actually helps build the momentum and allows someone else the same space, right? That safe
yeah,
space and processing it and verbally being able to, because sometimes just thinking things, okay, yeah, it can work, but there is power in speaking it.
there is. That is one of my firm beliefs is that there is once you say it, you can deal with it better.
Mhm.
When it's said just up here, yeah, those little people that live in my brain have fun, but
Oh,
once I
yeah,
say it, I can deal with it as my
right.
take.
I think sometimes we have to tell ourselves with that self-talk of those little people in your brain to shut up because they're liars.
Yeah.
I don't like the word shut up, However, it's appropriate for the little voices in our head because they're liars.